Today, we're going to break down a really powerful technique for getting rid of self-doubt. And the trick is to stop thinking of it as a feeling and start treating it like a piece of faulty code in your brain that you can actually rewrite.
So let's just start with this idea, this reframe. What if that nagging voice of self-doubt isn't actually a part of you? What if it's just a bug in your brain's operating system, a glitch that keeps popping up? Thinking about it this way changes everything, right? Because bugs aren't personal failures, they're just problems that need to be fixed.
Okay, so what does this confidence bug really look like in practice? Let's take a closer look at this negative code that's running in the background of our minds, most of the time without us even noticing.
This is really the heart of the issue. It's that automatic script that just runs on its own, whispering things like, "Oh, I'm not the kind of person who can do that," or "Why bother? I'll probably just fail anyway." And this creates a really nasty feedback loop, doesn't it? The thought makes you not act, and then your inaction just proves the original thought right. It's a vicious cycle.
So this is where we make the change. We have to overwrite that old rusty code. See, the old program hears, "I'm not capable," and just accepts it as a fact. End of story. And that leads you, well, nowhere. The new program hears that exact same thought and treats it like a question. It says, "Really? Are you sure about that? Let's get some data." And that one little shift changes the result from being stuck to actually growing based on real evidence.
So how do you actually install this new software? I mean, how do you rewrite code that's maybe been running since you were a kid? Well, you need a specific tool that's designed for exactly this job.
And that tool is called the impossible list. Now, I know that sounds super intimidating, right? But it's actually an incredibly simple, kind of elegant little program. Its only job is to hunt down those "I can't" lines of code and just delete them by proving them wrong with cold, hard facts. And this right here is the perfect mindset to have. This is not about becoming some perfect, flawless superhuman. It's about becoming a scientist of your own potential. The only goal is to run these tiny little experiments that challenge your assumptions and show that your self-doubts are, well, factually incorrect. All right, let's get practical. How do you actually build this list and get this new program up and running? Let's walk through the step-by-step process for your first debugging session.
This four-step loop is the engine that drives the whole thing. First, you just listen for that voice that says, "Oh, I could never do that." Then, and this is the most important part, you shrink that impossible thing down to something almost laughably small that you can do right now. Then you just do it. And finally, and you can't skip this, you record it, write it down, acknowledge it. You create a permanent record of the moment you proved yourself wrong.
Now look at these examples. What's so interesting is how small they are. The goal isn't to become a super early riser for the rest of your life. It's just to prove you can wake up at 4:30 a.m. once. The point isn't to become a social butterfly. It's to prove you can talk to 5 strangers and the world doesn't end. Each one is just a small, controlled experiment to collect one single piece of data that says, "I did it." So what happens when you start doing this? You start running these little experiments, you're collecting these little data points. What's the long-term effect of all this?
This is the ultimate payoff. You're no longer running on old, outdated beliefs or vague feelings of doubt. You start running on hard data. You are literally building a case file, a body of evidence that proves your own capability to the toughest critic there is, your own brain. And you got to remember, every single time you check something off that list, it's more than just a little feel-good moment. You are actively writing a new, positive line of code. You are literally patching the bug, one small concrete win at a time.
And it all starts with just one small action, one piece of proof. That very first data point is the most important one, because it proves that the whole system can be changed. It proves the bug can be fixed. So, over time, as this body of evidence gets bigger and bigger, a full system upgrade starts to happen. This new positive programming just becomes the default setting for your brain. Confidence isn't something you have to force or fake anymore. It just becomes your automatic response, because it's backed by this mountain of data that you collected yourself.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the huge, scary goals for a second. Just think of one small, specific thing that your brain tells you you can't do. What's the first tiny experiment you're going to run, maybe even today, to start building your own body of evidence?